Hello, folks, and welcome to our game. As always, myself, Shane Stapleton, joined by Michael Verney. And look, 'tis a sad day, Verney.
Hold on a second now. This is the Our Game show. It will be brought to you from 12:30 to 5:30. This is the Séamus Callanan appreciation show. Have your hankies at the ready.
Well, look, it's a sad day, isn't it? For the Tipperary hurling fraternity.
Definitely a sad day for you, anyway.
But like, it was probably always going to come. And yeah, I mean, we already seen like who else? Like Richie Hogan, obviously, he called time in the last couple of days as well. Now Callanan. It's one of these things. It's going to happen eventually. Patrick Horgan, TJ Reid, they're only going to last so long as well. But like 40 championship goals, all from play. It's just no one in the modern game can touch that.
Outrageous. And I think I don't know, these type of retirements always hit me a bit more because they're lads of similar age as well, and lads that you would, maybe rubbing shoulders with, or definitely you were well aware of them from a long, long way out. And listen, we'll probably go into it a bit more, but like if you had a ball anywhere inside the 21 and you wanted someone to score, you wouldn't want anyone else with the ball in hand, really. And I'd love to know, and it'd be very, very difficult to find it, and God only knows how much footage you'd have to pour through. But geez, I don't remember him missing too many, or I don't remember him being saved too many times. He was so clinical when he got in around those areas, and he was, as well as being clinical in front of the post, he was unbelievable. I just saw a tweet Brian Barry had up there. Some of the assists that he put on for lads, like literally on a plate. But I don't remember him missing too many. Very, very few. I remember one against Galway maybe in Thurles, and I think he ended up scoring the rebound after, did he? But he was so clinical. He was dead-eye Dick in front of the goals. Like he rarely missed.
But that wasn't the case from day one, because like if you go to the 2009 All-Ireland final, PJ Ryan was man of the match that day for Kilkenny. Callanan probably put one, at the boss side, in one of the few places where, Ryan could get to. Great reflexes, don't get me wrong, but, finishes need to be put in the place that the keeper can't get it. 2014, the All-Ireland final, once or twice he was sort of blocked when he was in for goals. But then I noticed around, was it 2015? I think that year, or maybe 2016, I remember one day against Limerick in the Gaelic grounds, he was in for a goal, and in the past he was, like, I noticed that he did a sort of a little shake and bake one way and then the other to finish and put it low past the keeper, and I was like, okay, this is a real change. It could have even been 2014. I'm not entirely sure of the year, but it was like, okay, there's a bit of extra composure. He's taking that extra second and making sure that he's not just trying to strike it straight away, and the defender, if they get there quick enough, there's no deception, but he added that to his game, and from that point on, like, he was just, I mean, if you look at 2014, 9 goals from play in that championship was, just serious
goal in every game, wasn't it?
2009, I'm not sure if he got a goal.
I think it was every game. He had a goal in every game going into 14. Sorry, 19. He had a goal in every game.
Yeah, 14. Sorry, I meant to say 14. I'm not sure if I did or not. But 2014, he got 9 goals, 950 he scored in total, 916 from play, which was serious going. And then 818 in 2019 when he won Hurler of the Year, and only 1 point from play, that being the last one as well. Will we read out a couple of comments here? Joe Butler, a true great in the game. Happy retirement from the inter-county game to Seamus, top-class player and one of the greats. Richard Hogan, in fairness, the one he did miss in 2009 got man of the match for PJ Ryan.
Yeah, and just on that as well, and what you said there, you probably don't have that killer instinct straight away. No more than Aaron Gallan didn't have it probably in the early years of his inter-county career. Now all of a sudden, like, there's very few Gallan shots that are missed now, bar it's an unbelievable save, like in the semi-final against Galway. You just developed that bit of composure. And Callanan, in recent years, probably the last 6-7 years, he was brilliant once he went through on goal. You wouldn't want anybody else with the ball in their hand here and through on goal. It was nearly, from an opposition point of view or an anti-tip point of view, anytime he got the ball, you're thinking, this is more than likely in the net. Like, I've seen him, he's played even like challenge games against Offaly down through the years, 4 or 5 years ago, where like he ended up with 5 or 6 goals in games. Like, that was in his pomp, he was nigh on unstoppable.
Yeah, so 6'4", 6'5", very fast, great striker of a ball. He was always, I suppose, as long as he kept, it was probably between the years, as long as he got that right, he was always going to be an unbelievable player. And like, if you look at the stats against some of the modern greats, I mean, I'm going to bring him up here because the 2008 brigade, which was himself, Joe Canning, TJ Reid, and Patrick Horgan. If we look at it on screen here, his record compares very, very favourably. So in the 7 All-Ireland finals he's played in, he scored 332, and 320 of that came from play, which is just, a brilliant return altogether. TJ Reid, I think it's scarcely believable that he's played in 13 finals.
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone else played in 13 All-Ireland finals?
Henry, maybe, ish, including replays, maybe, in or around, I'd say.
So he won 10. He won 10 finals, lost a couple anyway. Yeah, so maybe Shefflin played in a couple more. So he scored 271, 215 of those from the 13 finals came from play. Joe Canning, 237 from 4 finals, 1-8 from play. And Patrick Horgan, 31 points from 3 finals, 6 from play. Actually, mad to think that Horgan has never scored a goal in an All-Ireland final. Not that it necessarily lowers your opinion of him or anything like that, but
just bring that back up for a second there, Shayla, really quickly. I'm going to try and put my maths to the test here. So Callanan has 29 points in total over 7 finals. That's what, just over 4 per final, 4 points per final. TJ's is 21 in 13. That's about 1.5. Canning's is 11 in 4. That's 2.25. And Horgan has 2 points from play. So when you're talking about scores from play, you'd have to say in All-Ireland finals, he's a distance ahead. He's a distance ahead compared to the other 3, who are all obviously as well all-time greats.
Yeah, and I think all of Callanan's All-Ireland finals were against Kilkenny as well, which is, it's quite interesting.
That's mad, actually, isn't it?
Never got to play anyone else in an All-Ireland final. And we were just curious then to see, what about Aaron Gillan? Now, we wanted to do that image based on the 2008 brigade only, and Aaron Gillan obviously has several years to go. But he's played in 5 All-Ireland finals, 2018, then 20 to 23. How much has he scored in his 5 All-Ireland finals?
Not that much, I'd say.
The viewers, get your comments in.
From play, I'm just going to try and do it on top of my head. From the play in 18 to 20, he carried that injury into the final, didn't he? And I think Prunty got the better of him. So I'm going to say 2 or 3 again. 2, I'd say, in 21 against Cork. That many lads scored that day. I can't remember. In 22, he got 3 points off you at all, and this year he got 2. He's probably averaging about 3 points per final, 2.5, 3 points per final, something like that.
So he's in total, he scored 130 from the 5 finals, 113 from play. So that makes 16 overall. 5 into that goes just over 3 points per game. Yeah. So it would be Callanan, Gillan, and obviously, look, we don't know what's going to happen with Gillan down the line. He may add to that in a huge way. But the 18 final, he scored 3 points, 2 from play. 2020, he scored 10 points, 6 were frees, so 4 from play. Then 2021, he scored 1-3 from play and 3 frees. 22, 2 points from play and 4 frees. And then 2 from play last year with 3 frees. So interestingly enough, it's nice and solid. You're kind of every year you're getting a decent little display from him. Richard Hogan says Shefflin played in 99, 2000, 2002, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and replay. Didn't start 14. Shefflin has 13 starting appearances by my count. So only 2 of Reid's final appearances were as substitute, and that was in 2008 when they already had Waterford beaten out the gate. He came on and got 4 lovely points, and he came on and got a point then in 2009 also. But anyone who's played in 13 All-Ireland finals, never mind all the club finals as well, that's just incredible achievement, really.
Yeah, it's savage going. Just to back to Callanan as well, like, where are you putting, like, as we're talking about goal scorers, like, when we're looking at the pantheon of great goal scorers, he's literally just below the all-time greatest goal scorer of all time, Nicky Rackard, who I think has 59. He's joint 40 with the great Tony Dorn. But you might just even fire down through some of the names he's ahead of, like the greatest players that have ever played the game, and some of the obviously the greatest goal scorers that have ever played the game.
Yeah, and in the past I've tried to get stats to see how many of Rackard's were from play, how many were from frees. I know he scored 7 goals in an All-Ireland semi-final against Antrim back in the 40s. And the same with Dorn. I'm not sure if he popped any frees. Maybe he didn't.
Nearly all from play for Tony. Yeah, don't think Tony hit frees, and he was nearly killed. He was killed for most of them.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, not only are Callanan's all from play, but like it's starting in the base of Munster every year, because, like, let's call a spade a spade. In Leinster, you're going to pick up a few handier goals here and there over the years. Is that fair to say? Yeah, that's fair to say. Okay, so Callanan joined second with Doran on 40 each. Record number 1 at 59. Eddie Kerr with 35. Christy Ring, DJ Carey, 33. Shawnee O'Leary, 30. Lara Corbett, 29. Henry Shefflin, Joe Canning. Actually, I'm not sure if Canning's added to that, but Henry Shefflin is 27. I'll just check Joe Canning.
Sure, that's a who's who, like, of, you know, some of the greatest they've ever played the game. I actually had forgotten that Shawnee O'Leary was up that high as well.
Canning finished with 27, same as Shefflin.
Yeah, like that's that's why Callan's Hall is so unbelievably impressive, realistically. And even just
27, Eddie Brennan 26, Paul Flynn, Charlie McCarthy 24, JBM 23, Kevin Hennessy 23, Dan Shanahan and Owen Kelly have tipped 21, and Callanan is there with 40.
Hey, go on, because I saw somebody throw it out to you yesterday. Compare Séamus Callanan to Owen Kelly, or who, if you were picking a greatest of all time team, you could only pick one of them. Who are you picking?
Do you know what? Unbelievably difficult, because
and this is, and I know some might say it's unfair, but this is like, from Séamus Callanan's point of view, it's an unbelievable compliment to be in the same sentence, and he is.
I'd say okay, so let's weigh it up here. Callanan came on the scene, absolutely blazed the trail in his first season, got, you know, some excellent scores, same in the second season. Then kind of went awry for a couple of years, and then eventually, like even in Eamon O'Shea's first season, 2013, I remember down in Nolan Park, he didn't start. So it's not like he was straight away flavour of the month with Eamon O'Shea. Then he made him the free taker, number 14. Had from 14 to 16, and Richie Hogan not far off, was definitely the best player in the country. And then, you know, very good. And then a couple of years of injuries, 2019 Hurler of the Year. Owen Kelly never won Hurler of the Year, but his first 5 or 6 seasons were just unbelievable. And at times when Tipperary were fairly mucked, now let's call a spade a spade. And then he was fighting a lot of back injuries, had some great performances around 09. Remember that All-Ireland final? I think he was being
brilliant, yeah.
JJ Delaney did some great. But I suppose, like, the highest highs in terms of, like, just crazy performances were probably Owen Kelly. But the amount of daggers that Callanan put in against teams was unreal. Like those goals, remember that goal he scored against Cork in the 2014 All-Ireland semi-final? Top corner from the edge of the area. That goal against Wexford as well, you know, the one where the ball was played in front of him and he whipped on it. Even remember getting his teeth smashed against Limerick that time.
Yeah.
You know, like, that was just such a nuts occasion. I find it really hard to call. I'd say Kelly gave you the highest kind of, you know, unbelievable, awestruck, how the hell did he do that moments. But Callanan, you know, just produced it far more often. So I suppose it has to be Owen Kelly. I mean,
different types of players. Yeah. Different types of players. Like Owen Kelly's wrists were unbelievable. Like, and he could just he patented nearly that over the shoulder. I wouldn't say Callanan was probably as wristy, or maybe he wasn't as natural, maybe as Owen Kelly. There were different types of player. You wouldn't say Callanan was the sweetest ball striker. Like when you're comparing him to, I don't know if I don't think he would be as sweet as Hoggy or TJ or Canning, but you're literally talking about the cream of the crop there. But he had a different type of a skill set, and when he went in to the edge of the square, like he was a wrecking ball. Like that performance against Galway in defeat in 15 was one of the best. And again, I said it to you on Monday's show, I'd rate a performance in defeat as high as any performance in victory, because what did he end up with? 3-9, was it? He gave Pádraig Mannion, gave Pádraig Mannion an awful time. I'd probably just edge Owen Kelly. Probably just and he was probably a more reliable free taker, I'd say, as well, if he could only carry one, shall we say, and it wouldn't be a bad one to be carrying.
Yeah, to be fair, like Callanan was on the freeze and then he went off the freeze, and look, doesn't really affect like what we're saying in terms of him anyway. But again, just to look at that one last time, 320 from 7 finals is serious going. And look, all of those players are going to go down as greats of the game, but just to produce that per final, I think you know, that'll never be forgotten. And I would have said up until recently, now obviously people will talk about him more and more now, but generally too often I felt he's been forgotten when people have talked about the modern greats, despite the fact that his goal scoring record is crazy.
Well, to be fair to you, you tried to never let him be forgotten. Anytime any conversation came up, even all-star nominees in a quiet year. Séamus Callanan, yeah, he was always the first name that came up.